If you want some healthy meal prep ideas that are not only filling but also really warming and grounding for the winter, watch this whole video and I'm going to share some breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack ideas. Hey guys, today's video is another updated version on meal prep. I've done one of these before, but I wanted to make this one specifically for the winter because I feel like we all want warm foods in the winter. We want something a little bit more filling, kind of like comfort food when it's freezing outside. I feel like a cold smoothie isn't necessarily the most appealing thing. And another thing is, if you believe in Ayurvedic medicine and science, which has gone back years, a lot of it practices that you should eat warmer foods in the winter and things that will keep your body warm. So not food temperature warm, but things that will actually increase the temperature of your body internally. So all of this incorporates ingredients that do that really easily, that also add a lot of flavor, and they're all also really convenient, things that you can make at home that aren't going to have a ton of spill and that are just easy to have in the office for travel. I wanted to give 3 breakfast options. I lumped lunch and dinner into one category because really it's the same kind of food. I think breakfast food is its own category, but for lunch and dinner you could interchange these depending on what your schedule is, or if you're working in an office, what your hours are. So let's talk about breakfast first. First, I wanted to share these little no-bake oatmeal bites. I added a few in here. I've got like 5 of them in here. These are so beyond easy to make. Literally, you just take oatmeal, like you can take rolled oats, any kind of nut butter. This one you can use almond butter, and that's really your base. If you look at most ingredients, they usually will, or most recipes, I'm sorry, usually they'll include honey in there or something to like hold it together, but you actually don't need it. I didn't use honey for these because I just don't like the extra sugar. I think the nut butter gives it enough flavor on its own. A little honey's good, but I don't like adding a ton of honey into things, and they stick perfectly fine. Maybe they're not as perfectly stuck, but if you don't want the extra honey in there, you can do this without. There's a ton of recipes you can find. This was really just one to kind of inspire you. Literally all I did with this was oats and almond butter. That's it. I wanted to show you how easy it was. I purposely made this really basic because sometimes I think a recipe can be intimidating, especially if you're home late at night or after work and you're tired and you don't feel like meal prepping. Just know all you have to do is mix oats and nut butter and you can have this. Now, a way to make it a little more like tasty or nutritious is to add like some raw coconut shreds. You could add some goji berries. You could even add some like vegan dark chocolate chips. I don't add chocolate chips because in the morning I try to, stay away from like chocolate. But if you were making this as like a snack, you could also interchange this for a snack midday. You could totally add whatever you want, but you can make this your own. Of course, a bunch of cinnamon. I like adding cinnamon to everything, but all you do is mix it, mold them in your hands, and then put them in the fridge for like an hour or 2, and they'll kind of mold, and then you're good to go. Another thing I like about this is that you can make them in huge batches and freeze them, and then just take one out the night before or even that day, whatever, and it will thaw out, and then you've got your little bars. Another person, who was it? It was JVN, when I was filming a video with him. He likes to make them into bar shapes. So that's kind of fun too, especially for kids. If you want to make them into like little granola bar shapes, you can do that. So totally get creative with those. Another option I wanted to share was little nut butter packs with a banana. So I talk a lot about food combining, and I'm really like an 80-20, I'd say 70-30 food combining. I don't always do it, but banana is one fruit that you can actually combine with other things because it's more dense. Like, it's the same reason you can't juice a banana. It's longer to digest. So this is one fruit I would recommend combining with a nut butter. This one is starseed. This is like sacha inchi butter. You can get, some of them are called like fat, what are they called? Fat something? I'll pop it up on the screen. I can't remember. Fat bombs. Fat bombs have them. You can get the artisana almond butters or walnut butters. But they're so nice and convenient, and this is really if you're like in a rush or just don't want to have you don't want the fuss, if you're busy, it's so easy but filling. So it seems small and it's kind of grab and go, but it's almost like this is so much better than getting a processed granola bar. Like, you're getting more nutrients, you're getting food at its whole source, and it will sustain you. So that's a good one. And then I wanted to share again my kabocha squash recipe because I just love this recipe. I know I just shared it in another video, but I had to throw it in here. I've literally been eating this on repeat, and I like it because look, like, it's kind of spill proof. Obviously, you're not going to be like holding it upside down for a long time, but if you throw it in your purse or something, it doesn't matter. And what I like about this versus oatmeal Number one, oatmeal spills more. Can I just tell you that I packed oatmeal for a flight once thinking I was being super healthy, and I'm like going through security and it tipped over all over, like watery oatmeal all over the bin. They were so not pleased with me. So this travels way better than oatmeal. It's also grain-free for anyone who avoids grains. If you are paleo and you don't want to eat grains. And you can use kombucha squash as kind of a vehicle to add anything else you want in it. I like food like that you can add in. So if you wanted to add a little protein powder, if you wanted to add a little nut butter, I add sunflower seed butter, walnut butter, a ton of cinnamon. You can add a little bit of coconut milk, whatever you want to this, and it just kind of blends in. You can just warm it on the stove. I literally take, I'll pop up the brand here. I just take them frozen, they're organic, put them on like in a pot with some frozen banana, mix it together. It gives it a little bit of sweetness, so you don't need to add sugar. I'll add a little bit of nut butter and then just throw it in a Tupperware. So that's really easy that you could even make in 5 minutes the morning of or the night before. So those are our breakfast ideas. So next I want to go over snacks. I've actually got a few more down here that I didn't put on the table, but first let's talk about these fruits and veggies. So like I said, we're kind of focusing on warming foods, and there's certain fruit that actually warms your body versus some fruit that's cooling. And that kind of goes the same for all food. If you guys are interested in this topic, you can look into Ayurveda or Ayurvedic science. This is really where it all comes from. But it's believed that things like apples, oranges are more warming foods, so you could have these. And these are also super easy to bring with you. An apple you can just throw in. I mean, I would recommend peeling this and eating it versus slicing it, just so it is easier. I also have some veggies in here that are a little bit warming. I love baby bell peppers. They're just so much easier to eat. They're so sweet. They're the best snack. Every time I have a friend over and share these, they're always like, why don't I buy these? You can buy them in a little bag. They're really convenient. Radishes are really good. I feel like this is one veggie or root veggie that people don't really think about a lot. And they're really good. A lot of times in salad, you like them, but you don't think to buy them and slice them and eat them. So you could try radishes and carrots. So that's my little veggie mix in here that will help warm your body in the winter, especially if you work in a really air-conditioned office, which I feel like I hate about offices. And when it's winter out and the AC is on, it's a waste of energy and it's freezing. One brand of crackers that I really like is these Hue crackers. These are grain-free. They're really, really yummy. So I just wanted to share a little snack idea. Obviously, you could just throw these into a little baggie. I have some nuts and seeds. I love snacking on nuts. I think the natural oils are really good. I love that a little bit's really dense and goes a long way, so it keeps you full, and I think it's easy. I've really been into tiger nuts lately. I'd heard about them for a while, but I hadn't really given them a try, and they're actually not considered a nut. They're called tubers because they grow from the ground. But the thing I like with them is they're higher in fiber than regular nuts. So they've kind of got this same like nutrients besides that, but they're like double the amount of fiber. So this is a good way to get your fiber if you're not eating a lot of veggies at work, or if you want something kind of filling, this is a cool one too. Okay, so now let's go into our lunch and dinner category. So first, I just want to talk about the easiest little harvest bowl. So if you can see in here, I basically just got quinoa as the base, and then on top, I've got mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, and some avocado. So quinoa is something I've been talking about cooking in bulk for like 2 years that I've been doing this YouTube channel. I'm sure you've heard. It's so easy to make. 15 minutes on the stove. It takes no effort or skill at all. You just have to cook it. You can cook it in bulk, keep it. I love it because you can eat it cold, you can eat it warm. You guys know I love my like oatmeal, like chocolatey oats that I make, where I cook it on the stove, put a little almond milk and cacao, and it's like a chocolate oatmeal. So I love having it as a base, especially when you want something a little more warm. I like warm food better. So with this, I just literally added whatever veggie. Like you could cook a batch of Brussels sprouts, you could cook a batch of mushrooms, whatever you want to cook in bulk. Another great tip is to cook these all in the oven, because you just have to put them into like a casserole dish, maybe a little bit of like lemon juice, like a little bit of avocado oil. You don't even necessarily need it. That's the great thing about the oven. You can roast them and then you've got them all done. You don't have to watch it. You can do your own thing. It's just the easiest thing. So just cook them all while you're watching TV, and then every day you can mix it up. Like you can do some veggies some days, some another. I would recommend trying to incorporate some onions and garlic and a lot of spices into your food, because they are very warming too. So this will really help your body stay warm in the winter, and it feels a little more grounding when the weather is cold. and then adding a healthy fat like avocado. This is just one of the most nourishing, healthy meals. I love it. Then I wanted to share a soup recipe. Soup is so easy to make, like a veggie puree. I think making a soup when it comes to like, not a chicken noodle soup, like let's say like a chicken noodle soup, right? Even though I don't eat chicken, you have to like saute the onions and the garlic and add in the veggies, and it's the certain amount of water, vegetable stock, and there's a lot more that goes into it. Making a soup puree is so simple. You can take any veggie you want. Let's say you take like a frozen veggie, like frozen broccoli, frozen cauliflower, boil it just until it's like pierced with a fork, throw it in a blender, add in a little bit of like coconut milk. You could even blend in a little bit of avocado and you've got a soup puree. It's that easy. Obviously steaming veggies keeps the nutrients more, like, warmer, but this is where I think a big mistake people make is they won't do an action because it seems too complicated versus just doing it a little bit differently, which might not be the perfect way, but something is better than nothing. So even just taking your own veggies, like boiling them, blending them, making that a soup is so much better than being like, oh, well, I should steam them, I should cook it a different way, I should do this. Like, it's still better than ordering out, and it's just better to cook your own food. So it's really easy. And you could also, if soup doesn't fill you up enough, if you want something more filling, you could add in some hemp seeds, you could add in some pine nuts, you could blend in like even some herbs to make it taste better, like some fresh basil. So you could get creative with it, but just know it's really simple and anyone can do it. So that's another one. And then lastly, I wanted to share this dish. This is a big, well, okay, this looks like a huge pasta dish, but in reality, it's half veggies, half pasta. So this is the best trick ever. You always want to, when you cook pasta, cook a ton of like broccoli, spinach, whatever it is in there with it. And then you feel like you're eating a huge bowl of pasta, but in reality, you're eating a huge bowl of veggies with some pasta. It just kind of tricks your mind into it. Like if I were to look down and just see even a bowl this size of just like broccoli and spinach, it would not look appetizing. But when I look at this, and in reality, it's the exact same amount of veggies, but it's mixed in with some pasta, it just looks more appetizing. Also, this is a red lentil pasta, so it's really healthy, gluten-free, it's high in protein. So this is an amazing meal. It looks big, but I like eating bigger portions at a time because I find that my digestion is better when I give myself longer breaks in between food. So I used to be a really light eater where I would just snack all day, never have like a real meal. But I've noticed my bloating really like improve when I give myself like 4 to 5 hours in between meals. And when I eat something really big and sustaining, it will hold me over. I used to think like I would get hungry all the time, but this really does hold you over. So these are some ideas. I was gonna share more, but I felt like for one video, this was good and I can kind of continue on this for meal prep ideas. I know a lot of you guys have asked for these. So that's it. I know I didn't cook these with you, but those videos end up being so long that I wanted to make this a little more precise. Honestly, all you would see me do was like boil the quinoa and take the veggies and put them on a pan and roast them. There's like nothing to it. With this, I just boil pasta, and then literally when it's done, I add in frozen broccoli and fresh spinach, cook it in some sauce, and that's it. So there's nothing crazy. If you want to saute in garlic and onion, like I said, that will add some more warming flavor, but that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions on any of the simple recipes or anything else. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.